Wow. Hello there. And who, pray tell, might you be? Oh, let's just say I keep the place in check. Tidy it up. I'm no one important, really. I've learned to appreciate anonymity. And forgive me if I prefer to distance myself from any possible mishaps you adventurers can cause. Forgive me if I generalise, but some of your lot are as crazy as they come. I once thought you a quaint sort, but over the years I've come to realise... Now I can't help but wonder, are you cut from the same batty cloth? Why've you come here after all? What's the point of it all?
The mysterious stranger gives you a long look, and after what feels...
Okay.
A hidden switch. Perhaps it has something to do with opening that hatch. A switch much like the first. Could there be more? Three down, but how many to go? What was that? I heard the sound of scraping in the main hall. strange magic here. How will we deactivate it?
That cultist must have used some kind of key or spell to get through.
Perfectly inside.
Malia. Precious Malia. I'm a fool. Please. You must stop him. Source Hunter. Ha. By the health of the Seven, you're here. There may yet be hope. Perhaps you remember me as a healer. But gods, what a herald of death I have become. I'm beyond redemption now. But you alone may save Sicile, may save all of Riverland. King Brackus. Brackus Rex from the tales of old. He lives. The mad Source King, the Lord of Chaos. I've done a terrible thing. I've raised a mad king from beyond the grave. I imagined so very foolishly that I'd be able to I'll tell you all I know, Source Hunter. Resurrected, revived, the last of them. It was during this. Brackus was a dangerous monster, but he achieved things no man or... I promised to extract... I was given a great stone, a bloodstone. But more, the conduit said it would imbue Brackus with life enough to share the secret she craved. But what he has become, his powers of my failures. My failures are so many, I can hide them no longer. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, the Baron of Bones, the twins by fire joined. Their ghastly faces haunt me. Undead, Source Hunter, unkillable. I fear this plague may never end, no matter how curse her name. Her hell's she claims to be a link between her goddess and the world of men. I never believed her divine. It was she who showed me that Bloodstone could be used for more than healing. Her stones, particularly powerful and potent, could raise what could turn any soft soul towards wickedness. The conduit had shown me how to raise skeletons and zombies from their graves. But what I craved was something far more rare. Now the conduit's promise seemed simple. A secret for a secret. I tell her how to break the... You can defeat the unholiness I've raised, Source Hunter. You can save the countless innocents that will perish under the Source King's... I need to dry off.
Eternal silence awaits you!
In the desert of faithlessness, only this can revive me.
How many eyes does a bull have?
I need to dry off.
My target dances in shadows.
of Brackus Rex.
May his soul remain in the depths of hell for good.
Striking it rich.
Got my eyes on the prize.
The king is dead. He came close though, Brackus Rex. Close to fulfilling his dream. Dormant he would lie until loyal as a ghoul. No more was he reborn. Exactly the type of base necromancy I abhor. But now that he is dust at our feet, I can't help but feeling a morsel of pity. The work of ages, the desire beyond death, we undid with a simple stroke of the sword. No beauty? Oh, how you are mistaken. Life, it is such a precious commodity. There is much simple irony to be found in these exploits, but at the heart of it lies an equally simple endeavor, which is to overcome death. If it were possible, is to attain victory. Still, all this talk about immortality hits the raw and ragged nerve of passing time. Like Parbatha's silver talons, must we linger so? An idle brain is a demon's workshop, hunter. I can tell you if you wish, but you'd have to listen to the tale of my life, because my future, such as it is rooted deeply into my history. So I shall. Once upon a time, I was a king in a land of beauty to the east. A land of tigers and slender towers, of deserts and forests, of sun. I was a young king, handsome and all-powerful. Every nobleman would have killed his own brother if I promised to take his daughter's hand in marriage. I knew my life as a sovereign would be self-indulgent, but also a self-delusory one. And so a handful of years went by. The king's throne I myself occupied, whereas the queen's throne remained. But then one day, a young woman visited my kingdom. She was a poetess and a storyteller. People flocked to her, listened to her every word as if receiving mantras from the divines. Hiraka. How I miss her still. Miss the brilliance of her mind that was both as sparkling and as unbreakable as the diamond. Oh, and how I miss her body. 1,000 artists I could have commanded, show me beauty. But she would have effortlessly surpassed their every endeavor, and curving her lips into a smile make them break their sculptures in tearful. And yet, true happiness, that commodity more precious and even more fleeting than the dominion of kings, sang to us like the nightingale, only to depart come the dawn of our first year's union. It was an unparalleled horror. Scores of physicians flocked to my bedside. They traveled from realms across the seas hoping to cure the mighty Jehan, undo the gloom that had befallen the land, but none of their potions took effect. Their salves seared, but did not soothe my fading flesh. Like a ghoul I looked, unburied yet risen from the grave. In futile anger I struck my mirror, but broke my That, hunter, is a tale for later. I realize I haven't answered your initial question yet. Why it is that I chase time like a lioness its prey. But by all means, if you're in the mood for such a dark tale. Good. No use in step.
Who would have thought it? Jehan, an all-powerful king, stricken by a horrid plague, the memory of which plagues him still.
No wonder. From the sound of it, he was at death's door.
The higher your... My flesh melts before my eyes!
Into the fray once more. Into the fray once more.
Source Hunter, is it safe? Have you done it? Please tell me that you have sent Brachus Rex to the grave once and for all. Magnificent. Oh, truly wondrous. I feel like a prisoner. I was so fearful, petrified almost in the knowledge that I might see him again. You see, I knew the Mad King. I'm a wizard hunter, and that means I've seen many centuries pass me by. I was once under Brachus' thrall, bound to him by perfidious magic. Life was an endless cycle of servitude, torture, and humiliation. Only after the first Source Hunters, as you can imagine, I was afraid beyond all measure that the fiend would enslave us all once more. that I'd be cast back into the rank, but he hasn't, and he never will. Thank you. I will never forget this act of valor. So you have heard of her? Yes. I knew Cassandra. She was a sweet girl when we met. Hardly a woman yet. The very opposite of her. We were fast friends in those days. Aye, more than friends. Until he took her down to the dungeons, and she returned a woman no longer. A twisted lich had she become, with a twisted mind to match her grisly new shape. He remorselessly and relentlessly sought ways to cheat death. Cassandra and he were soul-forged, so he knew, and so he turned her into a lich. Turned her into a creature neither living nor dead, so that he, giving the matter no further thought, he rid his sister of her humanity, so as to rid himself of a spell that could threaten him. Such as your swords and spells have demonstrated, though, to this world's everlasting contentment, his deranged fancy was not to be. I don't know. When the Source Hunters besieged Brax's castle, I sought only to escape. I never heard of her again. Yes, I longed for freedom, for release. When I saw my chance, You have foiled one of Leandra's vile designs. That much is certain. But I highly doubt you forestalled her endgame, whatever that may be. It is therefore imperative that we find her sister Ikara. As you've learned from the accursed duo that was Jake and Evelyn, the White Witch is somehow involved. I will vouch for her gentle nature, but alas, I cannot vouch for her current state of mind. Has she been corrupted by her sister, perhaps? Or have they become enemies locked in a murderous game of... What I do know is that she lives in a cabin deep in Lacula Forest to the north. If anywhere, that is where I advise your travels should take you next. Very well, Hunter. My
That's it. Brackus Rex is dead. The way he spoke about our forebears was horrific. I wonder how many Source Hunters had to die before the Source King was deposed.
Even if it was one, it was too many. My heart shrivels in my chest.
Every inch of...
I needed that. On the men.